You're the one that brought this to my attention. I didn't really know much about this, but you told me like there's a whole like demographic and niche of people that are into like these like social media basketball
Yeah,
runs.
like Ball is Life. And
What is that exactly? Tell the people that are listening.
so the first person I've ever seen do it was the kid Devontae Friga, and he was just like a D3 hooper, but he was good. Like, he's really good. And he would just mic himself up, and he would just go to parks and play by himself and play against like random people. He would go anywhere that people would tell him to go. He would play, and he would make like good content. And for him, it turned into a job. Like, I think at first it was just something he was having fun with, and it turned into a job for him. Like, now that's what he does. He's got subscribers on YouTube from it, and it's interesting. So off that, he started playing with like a few other people that like he would meet like along the road, and that's when Ball is Life kind of took it and ran with it. Down now they had like an East team and a West team, and they have like a mid South like team, like stuff like that, where they just have like 5 or 6 guys that maybe they're not all mic'd up, but the Balls Life people will go there with plenty of like equipment, and they're just recording them from different angles and stuff like that. And they pack these parks out. Like, sometimes it'll get shut down, cops will come and shut it down, and it's just more so of like people like recognizing good talent that isn't
Didn't
out there,
make it.
because some of the best people out there are people that are very slept on, like the underrated people that could really hoop. They just don't have the spotlight to hoop. And that goes back to like Devontae Friga. Like, he's awesome, and he was just a D3 hooper. He just didn't have the exposure. He probably could have played like on a high D2 level, maybe like a low D1 level. He didn't have the height, but now he's getting paid to do what he loves. He's traveling. He's got his own squad. Like, he has like, I want to say like 8 to like 10 people on his squad that they travel and they play against each other, and they go everywhere. He has like a tour bus, and I think that's dope about him. He's all about like, mental health and like stuff like that. Like, he really focuses on like, he'll always give like people like, a good little speech at the end. Like, he gives out free merch. Like, he takes care of people. But yeah, that Ball is Life was always known as like back in the day, like the mixtapes, like high school mixtapes and stuff like that. And towards like as it like progressed from like the people who were like making mixtapes, not many people were like into it anymore, because just everyone was getting a mixtape. Back in the day, if you had like a high school mixtape, you were like legit. Like, now anyone could just go on their phone and make a mixtape for themselves and post it on YouTube. But back in the day, like John Wall's like high school mixtape, and
It
like
was like legendary.
Agil
Yeah.
Carr was 5'6" dunking, like, just they called him the Crime Stopper because he was from, I want to say Baltimore, I believe he was from. They called him the Crime Stopper because the crime like rate went down when he was playing. Like,
No way.
his nickname
What's
was
his name?
Akil Carr.
Damn.
His nickname was the Crime Stopper
That's
because
dope.
his like
So he was like a hood legend.
like a legend, and I think he went to Seton Hall. I forget where he went to college, but he was 5'6" and was just like fast and would hang in the air for like 10 seconds when he was shooting, and like his nickname was a Crime Stopper because the crime would go down when he was playing because the gyms would just be packed out. I'm pretty sure he was from Baltimore.
He was from Baltimore, played
Yeah.
at Patterson,
Yeah.
undrafted, was on the Delaware 87 Deers.
Because
Never
now
made it. Then Baltimore Hawks. But yeah.
the reason I was going to bring him up is because even now he went from that to now he's playing with, he plays with some of these teams. Like, now, like, he's not on the team, but he'll come for appearances and play with like the Ball is Life guys, and like now that's his thing.
AKA the Crime
The Crime
Stopper,
Stopper, bro.
Yo,
It's
this
the
is
dopest,
dope.
the dopest nickname ever. The
Yeah.
crime rate would go down when he was playing because everyone would be in the gyms.
Wow.
Yo, if you've never watched his high school mixtape, there's plenty of them. Yo, he was different. Like, to be 5'6" and do the stuff that he was doing was crazy.
Damn. I'm looking at this. Got offered to play professional basketball in Italy for
Yeah, yo, he had-
750,000
yeah.
as a high school sophomore at the
Yeah,
time.
he had plenty of like, he played overseas.
Yeah, he did play
He
overseas.
played professionally, but it's just, I mean, at 5'6", it's hard to get to that NBA
Yeah.
level. I mean, he played the college level and then went to. But yeah, he'll be known forever as just like a mixtape legend. Like, so like that's what I'm saying. Like, it went from that to like now the cool thing is like these teams playing together and stuff like that. Like, these kids like that no one knows about. That are just, and now that's gone into like other people like making their own squads. Like, there was a kid who played on the Ball is Life team who was just like ridiculously athletic
Overtime does that.
Overtime,
I had
overtime,
Overtime Mikey
does,
on here. And
yeah.
he was well. He told me that like off air, like because he's told me about like going to play basketball over there and shit. And I was like, look, bro, for someone that plays basketball once every 6 months, I'm not bad. But if you guys start going hard, I'm gonna be a liability. It's the same shit I told you guys.
100%.
Because I know how hard you guys go.
Unless the All-Star LeBron jersey.
If I get the All-Star LeBron, bro, that was an era. That was an era. But the thing I want to ask you about this, man, because I've seen them pop up too, and now I've seen it more with like the 7-on-7 with the football,
right.
Which it's sort of transitioning into like high school sports, and I get it because it's a lot safer. Like me, like I didn't play football till I was a junior in high school. That was the first time I put pads on.
I never played pads in my life. First time I played was in the casino league when I was like 17, 18. I played with like my brother and like Ferg and like my cousins and stuff like that. That was the first time I ever played. I used to just go and watch when I was younger, but I never thought I'd be playing.
I love football. It's given me everything that I have now going on. Like my love for football has blossomed into this like whole business that I'm 100%. Doing. You know, because like at its core, that's what like the VM stuff. Like we get the most traction during football season. But the reason why I bring that up is like I don't know if I would want my kid playing football, especially at a young age. Like I think that's wild to me. So I do feel like the evolution of it could be this flag football shit because there's no contact. You're working on your hands and your route running and all that shit, and you still need to. You can't just sit there for 9 Mississippi. You know what I mean? Like you got to get rid of the ball. But I know we kind of got a little sidetracked with the cap or no cap. But my question to you is, if someone says that these social media runs, are they legit? What would you say to that?
I think they are, because a lot of times you'll see. I mean, a lot of times it's clickbait for like what they say. Like they'll be like, "Oh, professional hooper," like stuff like that. Like. It won't be the best professional hoop, but they play real talent. Like they'll go to any park and they play against real hoopers that like when they post these runs, they post them like weeks or days in advance. So you got to remember like people from like these neighborhoods are putting their best fives together like that they know, and like they're going to really play them because they lose. These Balls Life teams lose. Like,
yeah, I would assume they.
Yeah, but I won't say. I mean, there's a lot of times where they'll go to certain runs where it's like, but a lot of times like they don't really lie about stuff. When they know the run isn't the best, they'll post about it. They'll say like, you know, this is content from whatever. It wasn't the best runs, but a lot of time they do play really good like people, and they'll play pros and stuff like that, and pros will play with them. But I mean, some of the people that they've played against are very good. Like they've played against a Gil Carr. Like a Gil Carr's played with them, played against them. There's one dude who from the Ball is Life West team. This dude, they call him Hezzy God. He's like he's really good. He does a lot, but he's really good. But he always plays against them. So like they not only have people that are traveling to play with them, they have people that travel with the group to play against them. So I would say the runs are legit. Not every run is the greatest run, but that's life. A lot of times you'll go to the park, like we'll go to the park and it won't be like a good day of runs. There'll be no one there. It's hit or miss. But like lately, like a lot of these people come with like that animosity, just like they want to beat them. They want to be posted on YouTube, having highlights. They want to talk shit, like all that kind of stuff. And like that's what they're aiming for. So these runs definitely are good runs, and a lot of the times with these stuff, you'll meet some of the best hoopers that you don't really know. Like I said before, with like that kid Devontae Friga, a lot of the stuff is exposure, and a lot of these people have D1 talent, but didn't have the height for it, or didn't have the exposure, or didn't have the grades for it, and stuff like that.
Yo, when I went to school in Buffalo, I went to Buff State. They're a D3. There were kids on my team when I was playing that they had D1 offers everywhere. I'm talking about like Michigan,
right,
Ohio State, Arkansas, and getting to know them, you'd be like, yo, why didn't you take that? But like this one kid, he was a cornerback. He was a starting cornerback. He was like, yo, my grandma's sick. I take care of her.
Right.
He got a full ride to Arkansas, SEC,
right.
You know? And he's like, yo, it's good and all, but like, I'm all she got. So then you realize that a lot of these dudes, like, they don't go to that next level sometimes by choice.
Yeah. They have other responsibilities outside of sports.
The other kid had a kid.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, I can't like...
And shout out to them that they...
Yeah, they chose their family over like a career.
Exactly.
So it's always like that. That was very eye-opening to me because I'd be like, oh, man, you play D3. Like, nah, bro. It's a different...
Yeah, hell yeah.
People can...
100%.
For sure.
There's some real good talent. There's good talent at every level. So like to
Yo,
just
didn't you get a cosign? I saw you post some shit from one of your boys plays
yeah
in the league or
yeah
something.
yeah
Look at him smiling.
yeah
You love
yeah
it
yeah
now.
yeah. Shout out to Taj Mahal. My boy Taj, he plays overseas. Me and my boy Leo, every time we play, like there was like a span where we would post up, we were like, it's just a Taj world, like we're living in Taj's world, like we're just the co-stars. So he gave me the cosign of of one of the best in Queens to never chase the A, to just be like a regular hooper that never really took it seriously. So that was a good cosign. But yeah, he's legit. He plays overseas. I believe he was just playing in Greece. I was just we were on the phone with him the other day. I'm trying to get some runs in with him. He has like these runs back he has like keys to a high school that like he plays in. So trying to get some runs with him. But yeah, he's dope. But yeah, him and two other kids that I played against are actually in the summer league right now. One of them is doing really good. He played for the Heat. He put up like 26 points the other day. My boy Kyle. I played against him like growing up. He played at St. John's Prep, which was like McClancy's right rival, and he was like super short.
Yeah,
and then
Astoria.
Grew to like 6'6", 6'7", and played the same way with like a handle, could shoot, and then he just moved up to the next level. He got like a full ride to like Cal State, and after Cal State, he went to like the summer league, but he was playing in Paris. Like he won MVP in his first year in Paris, won a championship. Like,
Damn.
And that goes back to show that like how high of like the level is. Like hopefully like everything goes good with the Heat that he's with right now, and he gets like maybe like 2-way contract or gets signed. But it just goes to show like someone like that, like who is like fighting for a spot in the NBA, it just goes to show how good talent is, because he's one of the best basketball players like I've seen, and he's fighting for a contract in the NBA, and it's stuff like that that's like tough. That like there's talent everywhere. You know what I mean? You never know. It all comes down to exposure and who plays where, and like you said too, with like people have responsibilities and stuff like that. Because there's height everywhere. People say you can't teach height. Like obviously you can't, but like once it gets to a certain point, like you have to also be skilled. Like you could be a really good shooter, and there's people that are 6'8" that are really good shooters too, that are good at what they do. So you have to be really good at your craft. But the main thing with like all this talent is like who sees you.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing with John Morant. I think I was telling you the story that the way he got scouted is he was in like, I believe it was like a college showcase or like an AU tournament or something, like because he went to Murray State, I believe. Was that where he went? Yeah, he was at some showcase where like there's like different like levels in like how high school has like AA and single A and stuff like that. There's like stuff like that in AAU as well. So I believe it was an AAU tournament or whatever it was. There was a college scout that was there, and he was just going to the cafeteria to go get like a drink or a snack or something like that, and he saw John Morant playing, and that's how John Morant got like a scholarship to like Murray State. So it just all depends. It's just the luck of the draw, I guess. Like when it comes down to it, it's fate that like if that scout's not there, who knows if John Morant's in the NBA? He might just be another one of these guys that's like a hood legend or like someone that's just like a neighborhood hero that like is just really good and just didn't have the right like path to get to the NBA.
Bro, I always get behind the guy that comes from a small school.
100%.
Like, it's one of my biggest rules.
100%.
Like, especially when you look at, like, quarterbacks. Like, all the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, they all didn't play at Alabama. Yeah. They didn't play at Ohio State.
Look, NBA-wise, too, look at Damian Lillard. I believe he went to Fresno,
Weber.
I think. Weber, yeah.
Weber State.
Yeah. And
I think Kawhi went to San Diego State.
Yep.
Right?
Paul George went to a very small, like, unknown school.
I think he went to Fresno
State.
State.
He might have been Fresno.
Ja talking about now, like
Nurse.
what's his name? CJ McCollum went to Lehigh. You're like, how did talent go over there? So I always like getting behind that guy because like I feel like the knock on quarterbacks coming out of Alabama is like, yo, how good are you when you got like Tua had Judy, Ruggs, who else did he have that came out? Devontae Smith. It's like, bro, you're throwing a D1 fucking like the greatest receivers of all time.
That goes back to show with LSU when Burrow was throwing to like Jamar Chase. And
that's
like
why there was
Jefferson.
a little bit of a knock on Burrow. It's like, yo,
and then he came out and tore his ACL after he was balling his first season, but tore his ACL, and then comes back the next year and makes a Super Bowl. And he just has that dog in him. It's the same thing. Like he had all those receivers, and then it was dope that him and Chase ended up on the same squad.
Yeah.
But I mean, he still balled out. Like he would. I forget. I think it was when they played Kansas City. He got sacked like a record amount of times, and he was just getting up every time, throwing dimes, balling out, like doing his thing. And even in the game against the Rams in the Super Bowl, he like hurt his knee bad and still was out there.
Yeah, it came down to the end, bro.
That's another crazy thing, because I was gonna bring this up when we were talking about the whole Chris Paul and like Harden thing, when you were talking about like that's the team that could have beat the Warriors. That Warriors run was based off of Chris Paul got hurt. They were up like 2 games, and Chris Paul
3-2.
Chris Paul hurt his calf, and then Harden comes back to Harden being by himself again, and Chris Paul couldn't play. So that's like a big like what if. Like I don't like basing things like off what ifs. Like if KD had like a smaller shoe size, the Bucks don't win a NBA Finals. Yeah. If Kyrie and Kevin Love don't get hurt in LeBron's first year back in Cleveland, they
probably win the title.
They probably win the title, because LeBron still brought that to 6 games by himself.
Yeah, with Dellavedova, we had to get rushed to the ER for IV.
Yeah,
He's dehydrated.
Exactly.
Playing that much.